So we are going back to the Old West, with one of the iconic cities of the West, that being Dodge City, Kansas. And it's still an active city today. So let's talk about its history, tied to the Old West from the Westward expansion section in Story of America cards. Dodge City is a city in Kansas, United States. Named after Fort Dodge, it's one of the wickedest cities in the Old West. Famous for its American culture, and several TV shows and movies were filmed or set in the city. As of 2020, about 27,778 people live in Dodge City. About 1872, a town called Dodge City was built along the tracks of the Santa Fe Railroad in southwestern Kansas. Named for Colonel Henry I. Dodge, formerly the commanding officer at nearby Fort Dodge, the town at first served mainly as a trading post for buffalo hunters. But when it became a whalehead on the Santa Fe for the trail herds of longhorn cattle that were driven north from Texas for shipment in Kansas City, the town began earning the reputation as the wickedest little city in America. During the late 1870s and early 1880s, more than 250,000 cattle reached the Dodge City shipment pens each year, and these brawling, wide-eyed longhorns were no wider than the cowboys who herd them north. See Cowboys at Work for how that's done. After months on the trail, riding as much as 18 hours a day, these men were ready for entertainment, and Dodge City saw that they got it. The town's front street was awash with saloons, bawdy houses, and gambling dens. In an effort to keep the streets safe for sober, law-abiding townspeople, the authorities hired several experienced peace officers, one of whom recalled the advice of an old cattleman named Andy Adams about Dodge City. Don't you ever get the impression that you can ride your horse into a saloon or shoot out the lights in Dodge. You can wear your 6-shooters into town, but you better leave them at the first place you stop. And when you leave town, call for your pistols, but don't ride out shooting. Most cowboys think it is the infringement of their rights to give up shooting in town, but your 6-shooters are no match for Winchesters and buckshots, and Dodge's officers are as game as a set as ever faced danger. Among the well-known Dodge City officers was Bat Masterson and his brothers Jim and Ed, Charles Bassett, Mayor A.B. Webster, and William Tillman, who later became famous as a deputy U.S. Marshal in Oklahoma Territory. Men who defied these officers usually died with their boots on and were buried in the town's Boot Hill Cemetery. The wickedest days of Dodge City were famous to millions of the 20th century television viewers in the series called Gunsmoke. Featuring Sheriff Matt Dillon, the real Dodge City, however, became a sedent trading center for the region's wheat and livestock farmers, and today its modern city hall stands on the site of Old Boot Cemetery. And that is the city of Dodge, coming from the Story of America cards. I was going to talk about Gunsmoke, but the card kind of beat me 40 years later to it. So sadly, I won't talk about it, but if you can access to watching this classic, I recommend it. It's one of the real good Western shows. And as Matt Dillon would have said it at the end of this video, get out of Dodge.